that in early February, a group of moderate Democratic consultants, campaign staffers, elected officials, and party leaders, AKA losers, got together.
Like literally the worst people on
Literally
earth.
the losers. Like
the most useless people in American politics.
The losers who led to Donald Trump, okay, winning every swing state and the popular vote.
In this video, Ana Kasparian of the Young Turks reports on the do-nothing Dems. Ana Kasparian plays a clip of Bernie Sanders slamming the Democrat Party for its inability to get anything done. With that, let's watch Ana Kasparian continue her crusade to spread the word that the Democrat Party is useless.
Some Democrats argue the best action right now for the party to counter Donald Trump is to do nothing at all. Democratic strategist James Carville wrote this, quote, roll over and play dead. Allow the Republicans to crumble beneath their own weight and make the American people miss us. Senator, what say you? Do you think that's a good idea?
No, I don't. In fact, the problem is the Democrats have been playing dead for too many years.
Well, Senator Bernie Sanders did not parse words when reflecting on the do-nothing Democrats in his own party. But regardless of what Bernie thinks, let's keep it real. It appears the Democrats are absolutely moving forward with this strategy, if you want to call it that, of doing absolutely nothing. The senator for Vermont has another approach. Here's why.
60% of our people live paycheck to paycheck. We have more income and wealth inequality than we've ever had in the history of this country. We have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country. Millions of seniors are struggling to heat their homes and put food on the table. I don't think you play dead. I think you stand up for the working class in this country and make the point that right now, the Trump administration is clearly an administration designed to represent the interests of the Musks of the world. 13 of the people that he nominated to head agencies are billionaires. You know, Kristen, when Abraham Lincoln was in Gettysburg, looking out on the field where so many had died to defend freedom, he talked about a vision of America where we have a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. What we have right now in Washington, let me be very clear, is a government of the billionaire class, by the billionaire class.
Bernie Sanders is wrong about so much there, but one thing he did get correct is that when James Carville said that the Democrats' strategy should be to do nothing and essentially let the Republicans shoot themselves in the foot and then make the American people miss the Democrats, the one thing Bernie said right was that's the problem. Democrats haven't done anything for a long time. Couldn't agree more. They've just been focused on hating Donald Trump, telling everyone in the world how evil he is. And the American public sees through it now. And Bernie Sanders is like a broken record. You know, 60% of people live in paycheck to paycheck, childhood poverty, income inequality. I agree that these are all problems that need to be addressed. But I believe that the Republican Party is much better equipped to make headway on these issues than the Democrats. How long has Bernie Sanders been spewing this same old rhetoric? And even when he's proposed solutions, they're either just bad or nobody cares. The working class loves Trump, so you're going to have to do something besides the same old talking points. And finally, for him to suggest that Donald Trump's administration is about billionaires, it just doesn't track, Bernie. Kamala Harris had more billionaires backing her by a long shot in the last election than Donald Trump. If Donald Trump was only working for billionaires, you can't tell me that that number wouldn't have been at least even. And more likely, Donald Trump should have had more billionaires backing him. Why didn't they, Bernie? You think billionaires like open borders? I do. It's cheap labor for them. Bernie just got everything wrong. They're the party of billionaires. They're the party that does nothing. They're the party that just complains about these problems, about income inequality and everything else, but never does a damn thing about them. But come election time, I guarantee they make a lot of promises. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
He's absolutely right about that. And I think that Democrats, as much as I hate to admit it, are probably also right in their pathetic strategy of doing nothing. Because the Trump administration has been given enough rope to hang themselves, and they are dismantling important social safety net programs like Social Security as we speak, and that will lead to a backlash, and Democrats will get voted in to the point where they're the majority again in Congress without having to do a damn thing to earn that. And what will their leadership get us? Nothing. And so the pendulum will just swing back and forth with two useless parties, okay, that have absolutely no interest in representing the ordinary average American worker in this country. That's the reality of the situation. I'm gonna tell you what Democrats were up to recently in just a moment, but Cenk, thoughts?
Yeah, so we're gonna show you the false choice that they're setting up now in mainstream media. That you either have to vote for the corporate Democrats who are gonna do absolutely nothing for you and pretty much brag about it, or what they're calling progressives or the far left. But wait, there's another branch of the Democratic Party. That's the populist branch. That's Bernie's branch when he ran in 2016. And he didn't run on identity politics. He ran on wealth inequality, justice, $15 minimum wage, paid family leave, universal health care. These are all economically populist positions and incredibly popular. So they're going to try to pretend that those are that go along with the most extreme far left policies. They're gonna try to lump those two things together so they could dump our popular policies in a dumpster and go back to their corporate goon ways. So I'm not gonna allow it for whatever it's worth. And maybe I fail, and maybe people that are on our side fail, okay? But
if you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
We're not gonna let the corporate Democrats just take this party back and do nothing time and time again. A loser strategy conducted by utter losers, okay? And I'm also not gonna let the far left hijack the progressive movement and go, no, progressives aren't about all these incredibly popular things. We'd like to do incredibly unpopular things. No, those are not your only two choices. The great majority of Democratic voters are in the camp we're talking about. Populist left, Bernie 2016. So now let's go to the corporate goons who are trying to trick you.
So Politico Playbook recently reported that in early February, a group of moderate Democratic consultants, campaign staffers, elected officials, and party leaders, AKA losers, got together.
Like literally the worst people.
Literally the losers. Like
the most useless people in American politics.
The losers who led to Donald Trump, okay, winning every swing state and the popular vote. Those losers got together for a little retreat, little day and a half retreat, that was organized by Third Way, a pro-corporate Democratic think tank, all right? So they got together in Loudoun County, Virginia to plot their comeback.
I hear Ana Kasparian and Cenk, even when they're ripping on the Democrat Party, saying, the Republicans will shoot themselves in the foot because they're dismantling these important safety net programs like Social Security, SNAP. But I think that's all BS. I haven't heard any reporting on that. Can anybody in the comments let me know if that's the case or if they're exaggerating? I feel like, and I can look it up myself after this, but I feel like Doge and Elon Musk might have slashed some funding for certain agencies or tried to cut agencies out completely that are responsible for some of these things. But our government is so bloated. There are 800 other agencies that if there is a meaningful program or something that people rely on and it's legitimate, that program can be designated to another one of the million agencies that hasn't been cut. So I think, and again, I'm going to do my own homework, but I think the Young Turks and anyone who talks like that is fear mongering. Cenk's been talking like a broken record for so long with like universal health care, paid family leave, $15 minimum wage. Pretty soon, he's been talking about this for so long that $15 minimum wage will be irrelevant. Clearly, that's not enough to change voters' minds, and they feel like what the right is doing right now is much more effective. Shoot, to be more effective than the Democrat Party, all you have to do is something, because they're not called the do-nothing Dems for no reason. And finally, Cenk says the vast majority of Democrats are populist Democrats. I honestly believe that the vast majority of Democrats don't know which of those categories that Cenk laid out they fall in. A lot of them don't even know why they're Democrats. either all their friends vote that way, or in college they were told they should vote that way, or their families always voted that way. I really believe that. That's why I think their arguments are always so laughable. I don't think they really know what they stand for. Anyway, let's wrap up the video.
This tweet from Matt Stoller, who says, I've talked to several Democrats and most don't think they have to do anything to win power. They also think the people complaining are just silly left-wing children. It's not your imagination. And by the way, they're not wrong to think that they don't have to do a damn thing to win power because, they're banking on the Trump administration becoming so incredibly unpopular due to the gutting of the federal government, the dismantling of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the dismantling of the Social Security Administration, that voters will swing right back to the Democratic Party. But that's a terrible, terrible lesson for Democrats to learn because essentially, they don't think they need to do a damn thing for you, ever.
All right, last thing.
I've often said that as big of a clown show as the Democrat Party is, it's very easy at this point in time not to take them seriously. But I've always said that we need to stay vigilant and remember what our values are and what we stand for because they're not going anywhere. And I hate to admit it, but Anna's absolutely right. The pendulum does always swing back the other way. And things could be going great for the Republican Party and things that most viewers of this channel and myself think are great policies and we're happy with everything that's going on. But one thing perceived incorrectly and then spun by the media can make voters start sniffing back towards the Democrat Party. And before you know it, they're starting to become competitive again. So she's right. They can do nothing and regain power at some point. So I like the fact that Donald Trump is wasting no time kind of shooting first and asking questions later to get stuff done now. He's like, I got 4 years to turn this country around and make the best possible changes that I can. So I think conservatives really need to take advantage of this point in time because even if the Republican Party does everything right, which they will not, but even if they did, pendulum will still swing back. It's just how it goes. And as I've said in the past, we want a strong Democrat Party because it will only make our party stronger. And two strong parties keep one another accountable. And the one that's not working for the American people will be the loser when both parties are very strong. So as of right now, I support the moves that Donald Trump's making. Even when they're not perfect, I think we need to all as conservatives look at the big picture and say, wow, look at where we are now versus where we are a few years ago, just as far as the control that Republicans have of the government right now. And let's not get bogged down with infighting. Let's get as much done right now as we can for the betterment of the country, but also to keep the Republican Party strong moving forward when the Democrats inevitably start to make a slow comeback. But we want to hear from you. What do you think about this idea that the Democrats can do absolutely nothing and the pendulum will eventually swing back to them, or the Republicans will shoot themselves in the foot? Let us know in the comments. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you in the next one.